Ah, the typical Democrat politician playbook. Say you're for the people, say you're a populist, say you're against the elites, but just use your political station to increase your own personal net worth. No one would know who you are, Bernie, if you hadn't been shouting about how evil rich people were for the last 40 years. So that's why you were able to sell your books and take advantage of capitalism, the system you speak so disparagingly of. But here he is trying to call out all of the fluff that Elon Musk highlighted in this bill, disinformation.
Further, and very dangerously, and this is the guy who owns Twitter. As part of his campaign to defeat this resolution, Musk has been spreading an enormous amount of disinformation and outright lies about what is in the bill. He said that the measure would include a 40% pay raise for Congress. That's a lie. It is a 3.9% increase, the same as federal employees are receiving. He said that this legislation would fund bioweapons labs. Not true. In fact, it provides funds to protect Americans from emerging infectious diseases. He said that the country would be just fine if the government shut down. Really? Here's what happens if Mr. Musk gets his way and the deal implodes. Funding for kids' cancer research gets cut.
Now let me address every single lie that he just spewed out of his hypocritical mouth. Congress people don't get a 40% raise, they get a 3.9% raise. Yeah, per year, for 10 years. See, the problem is, we're already at a $2 trillion per year deficit, where their salary is now. So they're promising increasing spending over the next 10 years, which 3.9 times 10 equals 40%, when we are already in a deficit. They are not accounting for any money to pay for these increased costs, which is what Trump and Doge are trying to stop. They're not funding biolabs. In fact, they're actually doing research to prevent future infectious diseases. Well, you know how they do that research? They create biolabs, where they create extremely deadly and contagious mutations of viruses in preparation for them potentially being used by enemies, and then they work on vaccines to potentially try to stop that future occurrence. And you know why the American people are against that, as fine as it may sound in theory? Because you guys just let a virus escape from one of those biolabs and create a worldwide pandemic. Number 3, it cut money for pediatric cancer funding. And thanks to X, the greatest news platform on earth, that was quickly debunked. That cancer research bill has passed the Republican House since March. It's been held up in the Democrat-controlled Senate because they wanted to use it as leverage for this bill to get what they want. And if they couldn't get what they want, they were going to use it as smear ammo to try to say that the Republicans were cutting funding for kids with cancer. And I'm all for the cause. It sounds altruistic on paper, right? But we've been throwing money at cancer research for going on 50, 60 years, and we have nothing to show for it. You know why? Because the pharmaceutical industry is corrupt. They don't want people to get the cure for cancer, because then it stops them from being able to administer expensive treatments in perpetuity for cancer victims. We all know that it's corrupt. So why are we throwing money at a problem that will never be allowed to be solved?